Hello and welcome everyone to today's office hours for Dynatrace App Development. By now, you might have seen me a couple of times already. I'm David, joining from the Dynatrace Vienna office. With me today in the call, I have my colleague Inder Mohan. Inder, he's on the other side of Austria and will support me today during the session. And also with me, I have today Leslie, our new team member. She's here to observe, mostly see how we run things in such a live stream environment. You will see her in the future again. So today's session, what can you expect in this session? As always, we have all the news and updates about app development, about developing Dynatrace apps since the last office hours. So we make sure you don't miss any important updates. For some, we can go into more details. There is a chance for you to ask questions. You can use whichever social platform you're watching this right now live on. So on LinkedIn, for example, on YouTube, just add a comment in the comment box below the video. Typically, if you have a question, it will reach us, and we will do our best to either answer it live or at least give you some way to follow up with the question. Yes. Questions in the chat, and we have news and updates for you. So let's start with that news and releases. Not a release, but a news update. We invited you all to participate in the app competition in the last couple office hours that we had. We also invited you to the community forum. This happened by the end of last year, beginning of this year. By now, winners have been found and also crowned. There was a nice event during this year's Dynatrace Perform event, our main conference that we have in Las Vegas every year. The three winners got their prize delivered, so to say, and some recognition. There are more details about the different apps that were submitted and about the winners specifically. You can find them on this LinkedIn post. You don't need to type the URL now. Carrie, who is also with us in the background, will drop all the links at the end of the session. So you can try to follow us while we are presenting today, and then you will have the links at the end. So Dynatrace Apps partners, they make all different kinds of applications. There was some judging in place, so to say, a process how we rated these applications based on innovation, business needs, UX design, and so on. How complete the apps were, and this is how the winners were determined. Winners were Maintenance Mode Manager, Atlas Topology Explorer, and User Manager. I have just a couple of screenshots for you, so just for inspiration, so to say, is how can such a custom app look like if you're new to that part. So Maintenance Mode Manager, the purpose for this app is to put things into maintenance mode. If you know you have to do some reboots or so within your system, you don't want alerts to go up when you have some expected downtime, and the Maintenance Mode Manager app allows you to configure that in a convenient way. Then there's the Atlas app, made the second place. I could not get the better screenshot, unfortunately, but I hope you get the idea. This is kind of based on the Smartscape app, where we show dependencies between your entities. We show your topology, but the Dynatrace Smartscape app does this in a two-dimensional view, and this Atlas app adds the third dimension, and it helps you understand your system better and explore it in a little bit of a different way. And then there's the User Manager. Made third place in this competition. This is the look and feel. Obviously, is quite different, more tabular, but it also serves a need. It gives users the ability to manage other users, to create maybe temporary users and so on, if they on their own management, user management permissions. Was there a question? No. Okay. Sorry, I heard something. So yeah, completely different kinds of applications serve different needs. Understanding your environment better, helping to solve a very specialized use case like the user management. This app solves one thing quite well, and also the maintenance mode manager. Congratulations to all the people that won, Sjerd, Andrea, and Mustafa in this case, and maybe their teams in the background. I'm not quite sure if they how big the teams were. All right, partner app competition. I can't make any promises, but I suspect it's gonna happen again by the end of last year. If so, you will hear about it here from us. Then something else, something more technical. This is now actually a new library update. The Strato, our design system, had a major release with the Strato 3.0 version. But now we are a couple minor versions ahead already. But Strato 3.0 was quite significant because with that release, we got rid of the Strato components preview library. So now we have everything in Strato components, which is way more convenient, obviously, to just have one import, have everything in this one package. You don't need to switch anymore. You can still use Strato components while you're migrating, but at some point in time it will go away. So with that release, you have Strato components. You have Strato components testing that helps you with testing. You have Strato Geo and Strato design tokens and Strato icons as the final packages that you can use when you're working with Strato. How to get the Strato upgrade? Run DT app update. You will get the newest versions. For many things, there are also migrations in place. So little scripts, so to say, that are shipped with the DT app toolkit that does migrations for you, so you don't have to do them on your own. Some things you still need to figure out how to migrate them. Check out the Strato release notes for the full list of breaking changes. It will help you figure out what you need to upgrade manually. Yes, Strato 3.1 is here. Let me check if I'm the changelog. Yeah, how to find it? You know the developer portal, developer.dynatrace.com. You go to release notes and then design system and then components changelog. All right, what is next? I think next is exactly what I was just saying. Dynatrace developer, release notes on the left side, and then design system. You can see also release notes for the other packages, but the components one is the biggest one and most important one. So one good reason to upgrade Strato and in general keep dependencies that we are shipping, that we are providing up to date. You might or might not be aware, Strato components, for example, we also use this internally. So the applications that you see on your Dynatrace tenant, they are also built with the same tools. So we have a good reason to keep them performant, to improve them, and so on, and not throw them out once and forget about it. So it is important that those tools are working well. And Strato version 3 shipped also a major performance improvement for a very important component, which is the data table. You've seen it in countless places, probably, if you're using Dynatrace at all. Faster render times, lower memory usage, retained memory is much lower. Some low-level fixes, they realized memorization was done in not optimal places, removed it, tested the memory consumption again, observed it over time, and could figure out this nice improvement. Also, you can now show unlimited data sets. Before, you had a limitation of 10,000 rows. I mean, 10,000 rows is a lot, but still, if you're talking about logs, for example, you might have 100,000 of logs. So that is for sure a cool improvement. And in general, the whole thing got more fluent, more smoother. Scrolling is smoother. And yeah, again, update to Strato Components 3.0 or a version above that to get all of these improvements. Without having to do anything in addition, you get those out of the box, kind of. Then a heads up, this is not released yet, but obviously Strato components will also be developed further. The major version numbers for 3.0, now 4.0 is on the horizon, might always have or will always have breaking changes. So it's good to keep an eye on these announcements that we're doing on the release notes, design system, upcoming changes page. This one, for example, will have changes to the app header. Most of the applications have an app header. There's how the navigation components are called is going to be renamed. It's a simple change, but one that affects everyone probably. So there's going to be a migration provided for it. And then depending on how your setup is, if you're doing the update manually, you might stumble over it. If your CI setup does it automatically, then you might see a pull request. Okay, library version was updated, and at the same time, these component names. Also, data table will have a deprecation. The date column will be replaced by datetime. So that is a very likely use case to have in your app. All right. Then keep an eye on this page. Maybe there are many more changes announced already. So the recommendation would be you look at it, see what you're using currently in your app, so you know what to expect. Maybe you have to do 2, 3, 4 other migrations as well, or you will see maybe that you're not really affected because you're not using those parts that are deprecated or changed. Alrighty, then next up is something different. We're done with Strato updates. We have a brief update about the SDK documentation. So since recently, you can browse the SDK documentation by version. Before, we could only show the latest version of the Dynatrace SDK for TypeScript. By now, we have a version switcher. You can see exactly what is selected. You can refer to an older version if you might be using that. If you're completely new to app development, or maybe have not used the app SDK for whatever reason, let me briefly explain what this is about even. The Dynatrace App SDK is related to the Dynatrace API. Sorry, not the app SDK. The SDK for TypeScript is called. So we have various APIs that you can control and configure Dynatrace with. They are simple HTTP APIs. You can find them if you go to your tenant. If you open the launcher with Command K, like this search window, if you type in API, you will find a link to Dynatrace API, and you will have this Swagger documentation page that you see on the left screen. Here, the automation API is selected, and it shows you all the different things you can do with this API. But then, if you're developing an app and you're in TypeScript land, you don't want to do normal HTTP calls with fetch all the time. You don't have type support if you do that. But all of these APIs are translated into SDKs with TypeScript. So you can install them. In this case, npm install Dynatrace SDK client automation. And this one refers to this API then. So now you have your Dynatrace app, you're writing TypeScript, and you can call APIs with TypeScript client, which is convenient. You get the type, you get types and so on. You get automated authorization and authentication. Actually, if you're using it in your app and it runs on your tenant, it knows that it's you, so you don't have to do any handshakes manually there. Yes. Check them out if you're not aware of them. And then we have another small update you might have missed. There's this small notification box that you get when you're running your application locally. It says, to prevent potential issues, please use the officially supported Node.js version 24. So this is the officially supported version since the App Toolkit version 1.8. So a couple of weeks already. I think at the moment we're at 1.9. Again, use DT app update to update to the latest version, and then make sure you have the newest Node version installed. So why does this make sense? Obviously, newer Node versions are more performant than older versions. They have security fixes and all the things covered. Node 22 also reaches the end of life mid next year. So by upgrading already and using Node 24 now already, you're not forced then to quickly change mid 27. All right. Then we have a new functionality in the DT app toolkit, which is code splitting. Code splitting allows you to lazy load portions of your application. It's common practice in React applications, and now you can also do it with the Dynatrace app. The idea is to not send the whole application to the user over HTTP when they initially load it, but only or send and load initially what is necessary. There might be things like a secondary page that you're not using, maybe some advanced debugging page or so that you only end up when you click on it. You don't need to load that initially, and you also don't need to ship all the JavaScript that comes with it. If you don't ship it, the app can render faster, the browser processes faster, it can render faster, and the user experience is smoother since it's more responsive. There are different kinds of code splitting to allow lazy loading, route-based splitting. For example, what I said, if you have a secondary page, you can lazy load the whole route. You can use component-based splitting if you have not a full page, but still a very heavy component that's maybe a lot of JavaScript to load, or maybe takes a longer time to render. And is maybe not immediately visible. Maybe it just shows up in a modal or so after a user clicks. You can split that and lazy load that. And you can also do dynamic importing. So code is only imported again on user action. The full guide is on the developer portal. All of our guides that are of this kind of type are under the develop section, under guides, and this one is called code splitting. I have a brief example just so you see how this would look like in the code. It's not so much that you need to do, but still the code obviously needs to change a little bit. So to repeat, the goal is to keep the main bundle as small as possible. The target is under 1 megabyte for a fast startup, and the goal is to lazy load what is not needed immediately. For example, a heavy component. So how can we achieve that in this case here? Here you can see this data chart we assume, okay, this is a lot of JavaScript, a lot of things to process for the browser before anything can be rendered, and we want to do that only lazily. So we need suspense and lazy from React. We can import this data chart component lazily, and then before we render it, we need to wrap it in this suspense container and provide a fallback as well. So while the thing is being loaded in the background, we need to show some kind of fallback. You could write loading as a string, but much better is something more visual, like the progress circle that we have from Strato. Yes, to make it work, you need a very recent DT App CLI version 1.9 or above, and you need to use these two flags, optimize and enable code splitting. The guide that I mentioned before has way more examples, super easy to follow. And yeah, so I've been talking so much already. I forgot all about Inda also in the background. I wanted to ask, do you have experience with lazy loading at Dynatrace app already? Did you try it out?
Not with the Dynatrace app, as you know, I already just came back from vacation. So I haven't experienced this new feature, but at the same time, I've been doing a lot of coding for quite a long time. And first time I experienced lazy loading was with the Angular. When Angular 2 or 3 was a thing, then certainly there was lazy loading there. And then, yeah, that was a thing. It started at least in Angular at that time. I have a question actually before we jump into what I know. A question is about the command that you mentioned here, optimize enable code splitting. This
Yes.
is a CLI command, right? So it has to be...
You attach it to DT app build command.
So just for the people who are watching this already, if you run the npm run build script, you would see that this won't apply there, because in the template, this is not applied, because npm run build is something mentioned in the package.json file, right? It's an npm script. And by default, there is no mention of enable code splitting. So keep in mind that if you want to actually use stuff in your pipeline, imagine that you have a CI/CD pipeline and that uses npm run build, you potentially have to update the package.json file to get the code splitting. That's one. Getting back to you, David, maybe if you have more specific question, I can try to answer.
Right. Yeah. Don't forget, you will see it in the guide also. You don't only have to supply to the build command, but also to the deploy command. You build, then you deploy, and then your app on production will have code splitting enabled. Good point though. Make sure you update this also for your CI accordingly. Cool. Thank you for that addition, Inda. Then what is next? Code splitting. There is a much bigger, more theoretical or background guide, so to say, in the making. That will in the future live next to this one. So if you are really new to code splitting, existing guide is very targeted at Dynatrace apps, how you can quickly enable that. If you don't have any experience, within a couple of days, probably you will have an even more extensive guide that should make it hopefully super obvious, the different ways when and how to apply it, and the do's and don'ts around it.
Yeah, I mean, David, just a question to you as well, right? This code splitting, I think the idea is that the perceived performance of your app for the user is much, much better, right? I mean, that is one reason you wouldn't send a huge bundle directly to the user on the first load. You would eventually divide it and then send it based on the usage, right? There's another strategy a lot of people use. This was a very famous in Angular, which is imagine that you send first the small bundle, which is code splitted one, but you also still load all the other bundles
eagerly, kind of.
Eager load. Yes, exactly. It's literally called eager loading.
Yeah.
And this actually is then a little bit different then, because imagine that if you load load the script only when user interacts with the UI, and then there is then some processing happen at that time, right? There is a network request that goes to the backend to fetch the script. Then the script has to basically execute. That takes some time. So there are multiple strategies. I'm pretty sure the guide that we're going to publish would have some documentation about this stuff as well, right?
I think it. I'm not sure if it mentions eager loading explicitly, but for sure it. After you read it, you will know that it's not always always clear. Yeah, always lazy load everything, because it can also be too much. If you lazy load the wrong things and they are actually in view, it will hurt your app's performance. So while the code changes that you need to make are rather simple and easy, I think you need to put thought into, okay, what do you really want to lazy load? Secondary page obviously is quite obvious. Okay, it's not going to be in view no matter what. But then again, maybe you have an app setting and it's going to be in view because it's stored in the user's setting. So you have to know the ins and outs of your app to apply it correctly. Good. Lazy loading. Give it a try. It works. It works already. Make the changes. Deploy to production. Open the developer tools in your browser, and you will see the JavaScript files are. You will have more files, but they are loaded one after another, if possible, instead of everything up front. Cool. Then something else. We are now entering AI land. We told you before already about the DT App MCP server, or the Dynatrace Apps MCP server. We launched this around February or so. Last time in the office hours, we also had some live coding, making use of it. So if you've watched that session, also you might have seen it in action. Before or until very recently, the only way to really get it on your local system was by installing the Dynatrace VS Code extension. So it was built in there, and as soon as you were using VS Code or any other IDE that works with the VS Code extensions, install the extension, you had the MCP server. Super easy for people to get started, but then if you're not using VS Code, if you want to use this MCP server in some other tool, for example in Cloud, we needed a different way to ship it to our users. And this is possible by now. It is hosted on npm, so you can easily run it with npx. To add it to Cloud, for example, it's just a simple command: mcp add DT app MCP, and then give it the command how it runs it, in this case with npx. Super simple to install. Once it's installed, your coding AI coding harness will have access to this MCP server. And the MCP server, we've also been talking about it before, but it does not hurt to mention that again. It has various different tools that help you build Dynatrace apps better, so to say, more correctly, easier than without it. It has access to Strata documentation, for example. So instead of you going to the documentation and figuring out how do I use the button component, or what can I do with the data table and so on, your AI harness can figure it out through the MCP server. You can do a search over Strato to figure out, okay, what is there. You can get the component description, like which properties are supported and so on. You can get use case details. It can help you figure out correct DQL queries. Most of the time, your app will have some kind of DQL in the background, some kind of query. It will make that easier for the AI itself to figure out. And there's also SDK documentation. So the TypeScript SDKs that we were talking about before, it will also help you to use them correctly. We have a getting started guide on Dynatrace Developer. Get started AI for app development, which also has this command how to run it with Cloud.
This is I would definitely recommend, actually, because you can have a poor man's MCP server where you can actually go to developer portal yourself and start copy pasting the information about different components and SDK, right? That still would work, actually, and you would still get a decent app out of it. But I think the context is much bad, because if you just give a link, compared to that, and what the MCP server does underneath is that it gets you exact component and only the required details, so the context doesn't fill up. It also costs less, actually, in one way, because then there are not stupid tokens used, right? Or not tokens are not used stupidly, where the AI harness has to either write a fetch themselves, then traverse the documentation and figure out the right page, and then from that right page they have to still filter out the right content, right? Which is all done by this MCP. So I would recommend everyone who is listening use this MCP server, and you would actually have potential benefits by saving some tokens, having a cleaner context, eventually getting better apps.
Yes. If you don't believe in what Inder said, or he did not convince you, check out the following resources on the next slide, because we have a really cool showcase where you can see how powerful, on one hand, the Dynatrace Apps MCP server is, and how well agentic AI development actually works by now. If you tried it out half a year ago, maybe your experience was not so good. By now, things are working really nicely. We have a two-part mini series about using AI to build Dynatrace apps. My colleague Dani, you've seen him also, or our colleague Dani, you've seen him in this setting also before, and Andy Grabner from Dynatrace. They were going over an AI-first app development cycle, so to say. So what is covered in there? They use the app toolkit. If you've never seen anything of this, it's super easy to watch. It's like a conversation between the two of them. You don't need to be super technical or an engineer yourself. You should be able to follow along regardless. AI coding agents obviously are a topic. The app that they are building is using DQL, so you will learn a little bit about DQL. You will learn a little bit about business events. You will see a couple different starter components in place, and also obviously the Dynatrace MCP server. Obviously, it's best if you're interested, if you watch it yourself, just so you have a little sneak peek into what's shown here, or shown in the app, in the video. Sorry, what they're building is a fictitious app that helps you find suspicious users for your trading application. So the idea is you are a business that provides a trading application, and then your customer support team or so, they need to find suspicious users. And they are using just prompt after prompt, refine the app along the way, and come up with something that really looks and feels like a real Dynatrace app that has a lot of functionality. It has user search. You can find the users. You can have a tabular view about their trades. They are marked as suspicious or not accordingly. It sets up different tabs. You can't see it so well on the screenshot, unfortunately. You can have a detail view that comes in from the right that has all the additional information. Later on in the second video, they will even further improve this. So a pretty cool showcase for what you can do. The video is 30 minutes long. in the end, they have a functional app, and they are at the same time talking about it while building it. So really a quick process to get something done that is actually working.
Obviously, sorry, continue.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, actually, to you also, both of you, and also people who joined us via the live stream, how is your basically experience with coding with AI agents? How do you like it? How well do you can use it actually? Do you still do hand coding and stuff like that? So I know it's a big question that I'm throwing at your end, but how do you see the AI coding? Feeling also, that is also fine. How do you feel about it? Do you feel that is something missing there? Is it too fast? Is it too good?
What do you think? Do you enjoy it at the moment?
I do enjoy it at the moment, especially because I think a lot of, from what I know from my friends, they still kind of underestimate how good it has become over the last couple of months. And the video that Dani and Andy made together, it really shows that you don't need a lot of knowledge, that you can actually already come up with something yourself. You don't need to understand code 100%. They also do some live troubleshooting, which I found very valuable. Because AI is non-deterministic, right? So every time there could be a different outcome, and they, if you have a goal in mind and you know what you want to do, they do the troubleshooting, they do the bug fixing, and I thought that was pretty cool. And also, they didn't just use the AI for the troubleshooting, but also they also did the manual work for that. So it's always cool to see how people use it and how they iterate on it, and that was a very interesting process. So I'm pretty excited to see where it goes next, but as of now, it's really powerful.
That is fair. It is really powerful.
It is, and it's often convenient because it can take away the boring work so easily. Obviously, something more complex, you need to get a little bit involved, but things that no one likes doing anyway, it can do pretty well.
That is actually true. I mean, I do sometimes have a feeling where I actually don't want it to do a lot of creative work, because I tend to enjoy that myself. Not that it can't do it, but I enjoy that, right? But at the same time, I definitely want to cut the boring parts, and then I want to automate this stuff with AI, and that is the beginning where I actually do it. And for, I think, people who are still actually struggling to think about using AI, maybe try with that. Start with the boring parts, only automate the boring parts. I've also seen a lot of people in the community out there, they have a weird feeling that they would lose the touch with the coding. They would not understand anymore the code, which is, I think, not a bad way of to think about it, at least in my opinion. But I've seen folks then mixing AI coding with the manual coding. Like they would have 1 hour block where they won't touch AI, so that they always keep the understanding of the code, and for the rest of it, and they keep using AI. So what I want to basically say is that, hey, if you are scared of AI, don't be scared of it. Scaring won't help you. The fear won't help you. Using it and understanding good and bads of it, understanding your own behavior while using AI, I think maybe will go take you much farther than just being scared of it, right?
Yeah, it's a new tool, and it won't go away. So learn how to use it properly, and also use this opportunity to also experiment with it, because it's a playground, basically. Be creative, just try to do something fun with it as well.
That is actually kind of really nice way to put it. Do something fun with it, right?
Yeah, not everything always has to be a business problem. I mean, in the context of Dynatrace apps, maybe, but who knows? You can be a little bit tongue in cheek also in between. Have a surprise for your users, an Easter egg or so.
Yeah, fair point.
In your app. All right. In the first video, they built this app. They built this functional app. Still, at the end of the recording, there's a little bit of a cliffhanger because they ended on something that was not quite working. So the next video then goes through a little bit of debugging cycle. It also kind of shows then hands-on. Okay, you've built something, it did not work 100% correct. What can you do now? You can either iterate with the AI, or you can also investigate yourself, do DQL queries in a notebook and so on, and figure out what the issue might be and nudge the AI in the right direction. So I think you said it before, watching others also, how they deal with tools, how they use tools, and how they maybe sometimes work around it maybe a little bit, or sometimes more into it on purpose, can surely be helpful. So yeah, in another half an hour, they extended the app quite a bit. More sections in the app, summaries of all the different trades that are happening in this fictional app, cross-linking to existing dashboards and so on. There's also a short debate about apps versus dashboards. When does what make sense? Dynatrace dashboards are already super powerful, and it might not always be so clear. Should you just build a proper dashboard or an app for it? In this case, for example, what they added was a connection to some user management tool in the background. So you found a suspicious user with Dynatrace data in a Dynatrace app, and then from within that app, you could ban the user automatically. So you can connect it through an app function, in this case, to your own internal systems, something you cannot so conveniently do in a dashboard. Also the user search, for example. So yeah. Did I want to mention something else about the video? Debugging. No. So within these two sessions, they had a cool app in the end. Check it out if you're interested. With that, we are at the end of the content that we have prepared. However, we are also sharing in between the latest news and interesting updates. If you're more into reading quick summaries and have some links to click through over watching it in a live session like so, be sure to check out the developer newsletter that we are posting on the Dynatrace community forum. Also there, we have the most important updates regarding app development. Where and how to find that. Go to community.dynatrace.com, and then in the top navigation, go to Learn, and then it was just recently renamed to Community Voices. Click on Community Voices. You will find all the newsletter postings and other interesting info. If you want to get automatic notifications, be sure to log in and then click on the follow button. Yes. With that, we are pretty much at the end. We have time still for questions, if there are any. I could not really pay attention to the chat in between. I think nothing open. All right, nothing open. If you have questions in the future, if you need help with app development, go to the community forum, community.dynatrace.com. There's a dedicated subsection for app development. You can reach us there. Yes, we can help you out there as well. Exactly. Until next time in July, Tuesday, July 7th. Check out the Q&A forum, documentation on the developer portal, and we're happy to see you again in July. With that, thank you, Leslie, for joining me. Thank you, Inda, for joining. Thank you, the audience, for joining. I hope it was useful and interesting for you.
David, sorry. I didn't want to cut you out at your outro, but we have a question actually.
Oh, then where is it? How can I become a good candidate for real-life jobs as a beginner who uses AI for fun every day, but doesn't have any certificates?
You want to answer maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have expert advice, but I think what I would do in that case is, for sure, experiment with kind of fun things. But at some point, if you want to utilize your experience for a job interview or so, it also kind of has to make sense for the other person. If it's only just emojis that giggle when you squeeze them, somehow it might have been a fun experience to build it, but no one will see the value behind it. So try to get probably in a more serious direction also.
A project portfolio or something that would be quite useful, I think, so you can show people what you've done with it, and also maybe run through the code and explain to them what you've done with the AI and how you utilized it. Maybe talk about how you had the iterative process using AI, and that could be a starting point, I think.
I think that is a really good point, explaining your process. Hey, I built this with AI is not a real interesting thing to say, but I built it in this way, and I built it in this way because I learned how to use it properly. Is much more interesting. Do you have any thoughts, Inda?
Yeah, I think this was part of the question. I would assume that when the person mentioned that, Elvis mentioned that when they don't have any certificates, I think certificate is just meant to show that you have some expertise in certain things, right? But if you don't have a certification, you can still show the expertise by showing the projects that you have done. And I think it's much better than certificates. People see what you have done, and they yes, you are not writing code with AI yourself, at least not everything, but how you sort of prompt AI to do the code. Because in the end, if the code is good, it's good, right? If code is bad, it's bad. Doesn't matter if you created it yourself or AI did it. But if your AI did it, also means that you didn't know that this was a bad code written, right? So having that understanding and then applying that understanding even with the AI, and then definitely coming up with the portfolio, I think will go a long way where people can really look into it. So other problem, I guess, the hidden question in between is that, hey, how can I get a real life job as a beginner when it's getting hard to get a beginner job, literally, right? That's the hidden question. So I won't lie to anyone here that the bar for a beginner to join a company or getting a job is a bit higher now compared to some years ago. That is true, but this is again, use AI. I would, for instance, recommend, if you don't even want to spend money on getting subscription, you have Codex from OpenAI, right? You have a web version of Cloud AI that you can use. You have a Gemini CLI. So, and they have a lot of good free quotas. Learn to understand AI from much more agnostic way. Don't stuck to a particular hardness or particular model. Learn it in a more agnostic way, how to use it, and then use multiple versions of them, and then eventually make a portfolio, and then there's a chance that you would get a job.
Fingers crossed. Until then, enjoy the journey. There's something new to explore every hour. It feels at least every couple of days. You won't get bored if you're jumping on the air train, and try to stay informed. All right. Any other questions that I did not see? I'm so bad always with spotting the open questions, but I think not. Then, until next time, you will find us on the developer forum. Yes, you will find us there if you have questions. If not, then not. We can see each other again in July. Read the developer newsletter, then you will be informed until then. Thanks again, Leslie, for joining me. I hope you got a good idea how these office hours are working out. Thank you, Inda, for joining and the exchange with you. And with that, bye everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.